The African savanna is a land where nothing is permanent. Not grass, not rivers, not even water. For much of the year, this vast landscape appears endless and strong, stretching beneath an open sky. But when the rains disappear, the savanna reveals how fragile life truly is. The dry season does not arrive with violence. It arrives slowly, patiently, tightening its grip day by day. Weeks pass without rain. The soil hardens and splits. Grass fades from green to yellow, then to dust. Seasonal streams shrink into thin, muddy lines before vanishing altogether. Waterholes that once supported countless animals begin to disappear, one after another. Every living creature feels the change. The air grows heavy with heat. The wind carries dust instead of moisture. Even sound begins to fade as birds fall silent and insects conserve energy. The savanna becomes quieter, harsher, and far less forgiving. In this environment, survival depends on water. For elephants, that dependence is absolute. African elephants are the largest land mammals on Earth, yet their size offers no protection from thirst. Their bodies require enormous amounts of water to function. Water for drinking, for cooling, for digestion, and for strength. Without it, even the mightiest animal weakens. As the dry season deepens, waiting is no longer an option. Across the open plains, a herd of African elephants begins to move. Their movement is steady and deliberate. They do not rush, because rushing wastes energy. At the front of the herd walks the matriarch, the oldest and most experienced female. Her pace sets the rhythm for everyone behind her. She has lived through drought before. Her memory is the herd's greatest advantage. Elephants possess extraordinary intelligence and long-term memory. The matriarch remembers where water remained during past dry seasons. She remembers which paths lead to safety and which end in exhaustion. Her decisions are shaped by decades of survival. Behind her, the herd follows closely. Adult females form a protective wall around the calves, shielding them from heat and unseen danger. The youngest elephants stay near the center, guided gently by trunks and low rungles. Communication never stops. Vibrations pass through the ground, carrying reassurance, direction, and calm. Each step sends dust rising into the air. The journey is long, and the heat is relentless. The sun climbs higher, pressing down with merciless intensity. The ground radiates warmth back into the air. Trees along the path stand bare, stripped of leaves, offering little shade. The elephants pause occasionally, not to rest fully, but to regulate breathing and maintain order. Calves are nudged forward patiently. No one is left behind. They are moving toward water. Far ahead lies one of the last remaining ponds in this region of the savanna. Once, during the wet season, it was wide and deep, fed by seasonal rivers and underground flow. Birds gathered at its edges. Fish moved beneath the surface. Vegetation flourished along its banks. Now, weeks without rain have transformed it. The pond has shrunk into a muddy basin, surrounded by cracked earth and deep footprints. Every track around its edge tells the same story. Animals arriving thirsty, drinking quickly, and leaving before danger arrives. Because danger always arrives. Beneath the murky surface of the pond, Nile crocodiles wait. These crocodiles are ancient survivors, shaped by millions of years of evolution. Their bodies are built for patience rather than pursuit. They conserve energy, remaining motionless for long periods, waiting for the right moment. As rivers dry and prey become scarce, crocodiles gather at the last water sources. They understand the patterns of drought. Thirst will bring them to them. The pond is quiet. Only the eyes and nostrils of the crocodiles break the surface, barely visible among mud and shadow. To an untrained observer, the water appears calm, but calm does not mean safe. As the elephant herd approaches, the matriarch slows. She senses the change before the pond fully comes into view. The smell of moisture carries on the air, but so does something else, a stillness that feels wrong. Birds avoid the area. The ground vibrates differently beneath her feet. Elephants trust these signals. The herd tightens its formation. When the pond finally appears, relief moves through the group, but it is restrained. The water is still, too still. The matriarch stops at the edge. She raises her head, spreading her ears wide to listen. The herd waits behind her in silence. No one moves without her signal. Leadership among elephants is not about force, it is about judgment. For a long moment, nothing happens. Then the water shifts. A crocodile moves just enough to reveal itself. A ridged back breaks the surface before sinking again. The message is clear. The water is occupied. Instantly, the elephants respond. Adults move forward, positioning themselves between the pond and the calves. The youngest elephants are guided backward and inward, protected by massive bodies on all sides. This is not panic, it is coordination. Crocodiles are ambush predators. They rely on surprise and vulnerable targets. Against a full-grown elephant, they stand little chance. But calves are always at risk. The matriarch steps forward. She enters the shallow edge of the pond carefully, testing the ground with each step. Mud shifts beneath her weight. Water reaches her legs, but she does not retreat. Her presence alone changes the balance. Suddenly, the water erupts. A crocodile lunges forward, jaws snapping shut with explosive force. It misses, striking only water and mud. The sound echoes across the savannah. The elephants answer immediately. The matriarch trumpets loudly, a deep, commanding call that carries authority across the plains. Other adults surge forward, stomping and splashing, churning the water into chaos. This is not a hunt. This is a confrontation. The crocodiles retreat slightly, slipping toward deeper water. They are powerful, but they are not reckless. Against coordinated strength, they yield ground. Step by step, the elephants advance. Their size works against the crocodiles now. The shallow water limits movement. Mud clouds the pond, reducing visibility. The advantage of stealth disappears. Finally, the matriarch lowers her trunk into the water. She drinks. Others follow. Trunks draw water in deep, steady gulps. Some elephants spray it across their backs, cooling overheated skin. Calves are brought forward carefully, always surrounded, always protected. The crocodiles remain present, but distant. They watch. They wait. Minutes pass. The tension does not disappear immediately. Every ripple is monitored. Every movement is measured. But no further attacks come. The elephants drink deeply. They have earned this moment. As the sun begins to lower, the worst of the heat eases. The herd finishes drinking. The matriarch lifts her head and scans the surroundings one final time. Satisfied, she turns away from the pond. The elephants leave together. Behind them, the pond grows quiet once more. The crocodiles sink back into stillness, conserving energy, waiting for another opportunity, one that carries less risk. The dry season is far from over. Tomorrow, the elephants will move again. The search for water will continue. The crocodiles will remain patient. The savannah will remain unforgiving. But today, survival belonged to memory, intelligence, and unity. In the African savannah,
Survival is not always decided by violence. It is decided by awareness, by leadership, by knowing when to stand together. And as long as water remains scarce, these silent battles will shape life on the plains.